I was working in Midtown, and my routine was to take what was called the PATH train. That's a New Jersey train that goes from North Jersey to Manhattan. And I took the World Trade Center train, and that's what it was called. And it would actually take you to the World Trade Center, and it would deposit you many floors below the lobby, deep in the ground. And it was so deep that you take a very long escalator to get back up. The biggest escalator I've ever seen. It was so large that 4 people on each side going up, 4 people side by side going down. And it was so tall that for a good portion of the ride, you can't see the bottom or the top. Now, it was during this portion when I couldn't see the bottom or the top that I heard a lot of screaming. And I believe that's when the plane hit. I think I was the last train to come into that station.
When John and I said goodbye that morning, we thought we were going to be gone, for a week. So it was thankfully, a very good goodbye. We lived in Hoboken, and he used to take the ferry down to the World Trade Center and was running late. You could see the ferry from our apartment, and so he ran out and forgot his cell phone, caught the ferry, and got into work. And so I actually originally was supposed to be on flight 93. Because I had chosen to bring my mom and Allie, we took the next flight. So we were on flight United 91.
We were coming into the city, coming into New York. I remember kind of feeling tired and hungry and looking out the window, and I saw smoke coming out of New York City, like the skyline.
I remember waking up early to the sound of the vibration of my phone going on for about an hour. I could sleep through a war, and apparently I could also sleep through Armageddon.
This guy jumped up maybe 2 seats ahead of me on the train and said, "Oh, this is big. This is really, really big." A plane just hit the World Trade Center. And it was almost like he was rubbing his hands together with excitement.
I went to call John right before we were to get on our flight, and it was literally call it 8:42. And there was no answer, which is impossible, right? So he worked for Cantor Fitzgerald. Always one of the guys would pick up the phone, always. And so I was like, that's so strange, but whatever, I'll talk to John when I land.
I don't think I had been up for more than 10 minutes when my sister called me. And she said, "Have you seen the news?" And I said, "No." She's like, "Turn on the TV." So I turn on the TV and I see the World Trade Center smoking.
We're all in our seats, and all of a sudden they come over on the loudspeaker on the airplane and they said, "We're grounded." And that was at the time when Blackberries had just come out. I sent a note to work to say "Please, what happened?" And literally wrote "help" in the subject line. They're getting everybody off the plane at that point. And I just remember saying to my mom, we're under attack. We are under attack.
I looked at the TV and I was like, I hope this wasn't a Muslim. There's going to be a huge backlash.
When I woke up at 10-something, I looked at my phone and saw 36 missed phone calls. The top 9 said "mommy."
I remember just trying to email and call my family. Had they heard from John, because he didn't have his cell phone. We had no way to get in touch with him.
I didn't know what happened until I walked outside. There was a huge hole in the middle of one of the towers. Out of the blue, there was another huge explosion. And that's when, and a lot of us, including me, we took off and I ran. I had a survival instinct that took over and said, yeah, I don't need to watch what's going on. I need to get out of here.
I remember getting off the train, coming up the stairs into Penn Station, and a woman grabbed me by the shoulders and said, "You need to go home." Like the way a mom would or something. Go home. that was actually when I was like, why would a stranger be touching me? Like, why would a stranger put her hands on me and tell me to go home? And she looked upset, and not like, oh, her boyfriend broke up with her upset. Like, she looked really upset.
At this point, it was clear that it was an attack. And I found a group of students, so they were in a prayer circle and they started praying, and they're like, do you want to join us? And I said, sure. We were outside in the open in a courtyard praying. I'd never done anything like that before.
On the Wednesday, the 12th, I just remember waking up, going actually to see Monsignor Nolan at the church where John and I had been married in Princeton, and just, going to him and crying and telling him that John hadn't made contact yet. I was like, even God doesn't know what happened here, right? Like, I just felt like we were so cheated. And at the time, like, that was when people were making pictures. Girlfriends of mine took them into the city and posted them up. Just the height, the weight, what he looked like, what he was wearing.
You'd see New York full of these flyers for people. You're used to seeing that for I lost my wallet, but not like your husband or your wife, and like the basicness of it of like, no, you just got a piece of paper and a pen, and you're like, where's my person? I don't know where my person is. That seemed big.
For us, because we didn't have a body and couldn't say goodbye, it just kind of poof, right? Like, it's incredible that they just disappeared, right? These buildings just poof, they're gone.
Because my bedroom window is smack dab facing the remains of the World Trade Center, and it was just too eerie to deal with. And first thing I did was installed an electronic curtain, just so that I didn't have to wake up and have it stare at me or me stare at it. I'm entranced by it.
The whole part downtown of Ground Zero now for us is our burial ground, right? That is, where John is in some way. I actually like that you go down below ground and it's dark, right? There's no natural light, and it's cold, and it is a somber experience that you're just trying to take in and understand what happened that day. It allows you to peacefully kind of remember.
There are the events of my life on September 11th, 2001, the morning and the afternoon, particularly the morning events. But then there's 9/11. 9/11 is a media creation, and we all understand what that is.
9/11 fundamentally altered my sense of understanding and experience of being an American. Completely. You can draw a line in the sand. I am now part of the group that is being focused on and viewed as the enemy. And it fundamentally altered the way my body walked through space in the United States.
You really felt like everyone collectively in the world took a moment.
Yes, we lost John, but it was a monumental world event, right? And everybody in some way was affected by it. Everybody.